Hey Zaxon and Josh, it's Rebecca Stevens one last time to talk about my pedagogical portfolio. I'm going to start off with week 2, where the focus was on getting to know your students. I've selected 2 artifacts for this week because I felt that everything else that we've learned in this course and throughout the other courses at Holt House all revolve around getting to know your students. So it's really imperative that we focus on how to do this. So for my first artifact, I've chosen the student chart. It's a great thing that you can keep in your organizational binder or somewhere on your desk so it's easily accessible to refer to. It's going to have your student name at the top like you can see here, as well as, just different things they can fill in about themselves. The other column, of course, for anything that you may not have thought of that they would like to tell you. So it's just something that's great way to show students that you care, shows that you'll be able to understand students' interests, and then you can help differentiate the instructions to suit their needs, interests, and to motivate them to learn more or to be participating in an activity. So it's great to know what they like. It shows them that you care and it builds that positive relationship. The next thing I want to talk about is the Indigenous Culture Card. We looked at Indigenous communities and students and how they learn during the decathlon that week. And this Indigenous Culture Card from London and Middlesex is a great resource for all teachers. I'll just give you a quick peek at it there. So that's one side, that's the other. So it has things like basic terminology about FNMI peoples, some of the different regional cultural differences between different clans or tribes, treaty relationships, why they have distrust sometimes, just basic spark notes on a bit of their culture, as well as ally do's and don'ts. So what you should do if you want to help them, if you want to be an ally, and what not to do. So it's really great for everyone. It's a big issue in the educational practice right now, and it just helps you create a safe learning environment for your FNMI students. So moving on to week 4, which was the focus on not taking behavior personally. I've chosen one of the talking points, which was they'd rather be known as bad than as dumb. So really what that boils down to is we need to look into what's causing the behavior. What's the antecedent? What's the trigger? What is making this behavior happen? It could be something educational. It could be something at home that's going on. We really just need to understand and look deeper into the students' lives to see why they're doing it. They're not doing this behavior because they don't like you, because they think your teaching sucks. There's something else underneath. Maybe they're not getting the concept. Maybe there was a fight at home. We need to meet their basic needs first before we can move on, and that's why getting to know your student is really important as well. Uh, so, uh, yeah, so you need to figure out what needs to be changed to help that student. Week 5 was the focus on the third teacher. So I've chosen the quote from that week, which was, when a flower doesn't bloom, you fix the environment in which it grows, not the flower. So it kind of goes along with they'd rather be known as bad than dumb. It's, what are we doing as facilitators that isn't working? Why is the student not learning, not growing? What do we need to change to help them? Big thing with this that we talked about was flexible seating, and I know for some students that I've taught so far, the wiggle seats really help, and they're a great way to keep them stimulated while being able to focus their mind on what's going on. So having sit down areas, stand up areas, whatever's going to work best for that student, and that's just one example of how you can change the learning environment to suit the student's needs. Moving on to week 7, which was the focus on leadership, I chose the video of the week by Catherine Schultz and the TED Talk on being wrong. So what I got out of that video was that you need to be a reflective practitioner. You need to be open to the idea of being wrong, that your way of teaching is wrong for this student, this class, this year. It's not always going to be wrong. What's right for one student might be wrong for another. It's just being open to the idea, and also, being open to being wrong in your classroom. It's not the worst thing that can happen in the world. Let the students know. Show them how you work through that, and that's really going to help them grow as people and students themselves, because when they hit that wall and they're like, oh, I could be wrong, they're not going to break down. They're going to just keep pushing in the face of adversity and be resilient and come up with new ideas and be open to new things and ready to expand their horizon. So it's great to be a role model for them and show them that it's okay to try new things. Don't be afraid of it. Going to move on to week 8, which was the focus on communication. So I drew out the student, parent, teacher triangle just as a reminder of what we talked about a lot that week. So the focus was on communication. So there's always a need to work together in a unit to create an effective program. So each piece of that triangle has a role to play in keeping the triangle steady and sturdy and good to go. So, how do we open up this line of communication? One great way to do this is to use Google Classrooms. It's an excellent way to keep everyone informed. You can have a calendar, a to-do list, assignment links, and students can hand in their homework, and you can link in specific parents to specific sections for homework for that drive. Um, so it's great to have an online portfolio. You can also give immediate feedback. So if you're happen to be at home, we think I'm going to do marking from 6 to 7. If that student happens to be online, you can send them a quick email, or just type in the feedback right into their assignment and send it back to them, and they've got that timely effective feedback, which I will be talking about in the next week. So week 12 focused on effective feedback. I've chosen my exit ticket because I thought that for me, I made a really great representation of what feedback should be and what feedback shouldn't be. Now, of course, we don't like the term feedback because generally feedback is something we think of as getting on assignments after the fact and something that we can't change. So I've chosen feed forward, because it feels like, you've got somewhere to go. There's room to grow. You can use it to expand on ideas to further improve projects. So I'm just going to show you my exit ticket and then run through what's on it. So I have that feedback needs to be timely. So, you want it quick and as quick as you can, because it loses it loses the effectiveness if it's not timely, because then the students aren't thinking about that certain topic anymore. It needs to be authentic. Tell them how it is. They know when you're BSing them. So just let them know how it is, and it's going to make it feel more real for them, and they're going to be more in tune with it. It needs to be something tangible. Give them advice or feed forward that they can actually work on, that they can grab, that there's something there. So instead of saying, you know, you had some mistakes with grammar, tell them specifically what kind of grammar mistakes they're making so they know what to look for next time when they're writing. Feedback should be specific, not general. And that kind of goes with the tangible. So, you don't want it to just say, good job. You want to say, good job on using alliteration in your poem. And then also that kind of ties in as well with feed forward should be task centered, not ego centered. So ego centered, it doesn't seems fake. It's not authentic. It doesn't promote student growth and thinking, whereas task focused feed forward helps students think critically and motivates their learning, because they've got that's the specifics of what they're doing good, what they're doing wrong, and what can be improved. So then I want to go to the winter break and focus on engaging parents and guardians. So although we didn't discuss a lot about this in class, I still think there is a good artifact to be pulled from there. So I chose the article of the week by Terry Ecoltz, which was New Teachers, How to Talk to Parents. So it's important to have good communication and involvement with parents. They're part of the unit that helps the student grow. So some of the things that he suggested, or she, suggested, was to encourage parent support and advice. So, if you're having troubles with a student in the class, maybe ask the parents what works for them at home. So this is also going to build consistency in the student's routine. So if they're getting the same kind of consequences or the same incentives at home and at school, it's going to really help them see the connections between their behavior and what happens. Be proactive. You don't want any surprises. We talked about that a lot. No surprises on anything. If the student's starting to do bad in class, let the parents know. If they're acting out in class, let the parents know. Work as a unit to help further that student. And again, as a unit, needs to involve the student as well, because they're part of that triangle. Don't take parent outcry personally. So just like you don't want to take students' behavior personally, don't take parents' outcries personally. They may just be frustrated that they can't seem to reach their child, or that you're having struggles reaching their child. Again, just, go with the flow, let it roll off you, and try and collaborate with everyone to make a plan of action to improve. Get involved in extracurriculars, communities. In the community, it just shows you care, and lets them know that you're there for the students, not just there because there's money in it. Choose your battles. So look for compromise whenever you can. However, if you feel that what you're arguing for is what that student needs to succeed and to grow and to be a happy human being, then you need to push and you need to fight for it. and by fight, I don't mean you're having a screaming match. I mean, obviously, professional discussion between yourself and the parents. But choose your battles. There's things that can be compromised on. And even in a battle, there are always compromises to be made along the way. So just be careful, be professional, and be proactive. Also, admit when you're wrong. No one, likes to admit they're wrong, but it's worse if you get lied to and if you're trying to push your agenda on the parents saying, this is right because of this, this, and this. Let them know, I tried this with Johnny today and it didn't work out, so tomorrow I was thinking we could try this. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in that context, but just let them know when things go wrong and what you're going to do to fix it. And then my last artifact was from week 14, focus on constant improvement. I chose the squash exercise that we did because I believed it's a good thing that you can bring into the classroom. So we use it to squash our own worries about teaching, but I feel like it's perfect to build social emotional intelligence and to just help them work through everyday problems that they may have. So you could have the students come up with their own discussion topics about it. So what are some things that students are worried about? Let them put in their input, and then as a class or in small groups, they can pick what they really feel like. And then you can have them work through ways to reassure themselves, to strategies they can use. Or you could also do a more direct approach where you give them questions or problems to solve, such as what to do when you witness bullying, what to do if you are bullied, what are the right things to do. So they can think about it. Well, what are their worries about it? What can they do to fix it? Who can they go to? Who can they turn to? What strategies should they be using? At what point do they contact a teacher? So these can actually be used as anchor charts along the classroom for how to problem solve. And you can also create an extra small one so they can actually squish it and say, we know how to deal with this. Chuck it in the recycling bin there. Just give them that sense of empowerment that they have control over their own lives and they have the tools that they need to get through situations. Um, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed my artifact collection, and thank you for a great semester. And I hope to see you around next year. I think both of you. I think it'd uh, be a real deficit for the next year of teacher candidates coming in if they don't have you. So good luck. Hope to see you. Thanks for a great year.